baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious...
Hello there, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. And yes, what a fantastic quiz we've got lined up for you tonight. 8 rounds, as always, of tricky trivia coming your way. And I can't seem to get the green screen working, so we're going green on green here this evening. But yes, thank you very much if you are tuned in and joining wherever you are. If you have been playing before, you'll know the score at this stage. But if you haven't, this is how you play the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Very straightforward. All you have to do is scan this QR code here to access the Google Form answer sheet, or copy and open the link in the YouTube description below. Very, very, very straightforward. Once the Google answer sheet is open, you'll see an option to enter a team name. An email address is also required to submit the form. There are 8 rounds with 6 questions each, only 1 correct answer per question, and no trick questions. Answer the questions as I ask them. You have an option of 4 answers per question in the multiple choice or otherwise stated. But once the quiz is over, all you have to do is press submit. You'll get your scores at the end, but do stick about for the answers. I'll be posting the final standings at the very end of the quiz and announcing the winners. Not that there's any prizes or anything like that, but I think you do get bragging rights. You can play the Big Nerd Pub Quiz every Sunday at 8 p.m. on Harbourside Radio here and on youtube.com/BigNerdPubQuiz. Don't forget to give us a like and a share and a follow on all the different social media channels: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Much appreciated out there for all you guys who are following the quiz. And, like I said, it's coming up to nearly a year since I actually started the quiz. And yes, it is hard to believe that we've been going through this whole lockdown shenanigans for the last 12 months. But yes, on Sunday the 21st of March or thereabouts, I actually started Big Nerd Pub Quiz as a way just to kind of get myself through lockdown. And I thought it'd last a few weeks, but lo and behold, we're here for nearly a year. And like I said, yes, doing the quiz on HarboursideRadio.com and Harbourside Radio's Facebook as well. Don't forget, we're hosting a massive live stream event, Harbourside Radio's and Irish Arts and Entertainment Alone Together, a virtual St. Patrick's Day celebration, hosted by Anna Gonzalez and Owen Dara in Los Angeles. We're bringing you 9 hours, 3 shows of 3 hours each, from both sides of the Atlantic, live streamed on Harbourside Radio's Facebook page. I know Paddy's Day has been another write-off this year, but if you're going to do anything, check this show out. We've got some fantastic local and international acts coming your way. But do check that out on Harbourside Radio's Facebook page itself. Don't forget, you can hire the Big Nerd Pub Quiz for live events, for private events. If you're having socially distanced team building events, by all means, get in touch with me, bignerdpubquiz@gmail.com. Perfect activity for social distancing. It's fully customizable, and it's quite affordable if I do so say myself. Also, check out all the previous quizzes that I have on the channel itself. There's loads of specialty quizzes up there from Disney, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, football, movies, you name it, we've got it all up there on the quiz, and you can play them at any time. There's still people playing the Harry Potter one, which is rather amazing. And don't forget, you can support Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating to the Patreon or PayPal. Like I said, the quiz is always free to play. However, you can support the work that goes into making it by donating as little as £1 to the PayPal or Patreon. Massive thank you to all my supporters that I've had from over the year. I have to say, it is quite mind-blowing when you think about it, like how fast 1 year has come about. Oh, I've soon lost my camera there. Seem to have lost the camera there. Something's happened to the camera. But yes, Big Nerd Pub Quiz coming at you live on Harbourside Radio. Oh, there we go. It should be back. Yeah, it's playing up tonight. Anyway, like I said, Big Nerd Pub Quiz coming at you live tonight from Harbourside Radio Studios here in Warrenpound, County Down. And it is rather amazing that the quiz has been going along for this amount of time. It's still quite mind-blowing for me to even think that, you know, this time last year I was living and working in London. Now I'm back here at home in Ireland doing these quizzes for you. So anyway, here we go. Round one, as always, is always about general knowledge. Let's see how you get on with this first one. It should be an easy one. Good luck out there. Let's see how you get on. Round one, question number one. Which TV personality is interviewing Meghan and Harry as part of an expose on the royal family? That's round one, question number one. I think that's a nice easy one to start off with. It's literally been in the papers all week. Like there isn't anything else important to talk about right now. But round one, question one, which TV personality is interviewing Meghan and Harry as part of an expose on the royal family? Very controversial, so that's round one, question number one. Round one, question number two. Who is the current Secretary of State for Education in the UK? It's pretty tough, you know, it's a pretty tough job. It's one of those cabinet positions which they say is probably the most contentious one if you think about it. But round one, question two. Who is the current Secretary of State for Education in the UK? That's your second question this evening. Round one, question three. Don't know whether anyone's seen it yet, but Coming to America 2 has been released this weekend. But what fictional country does the main character, Akeem Joffer, come from? It's round one, question three. I'm going to confess something. I've actually never seen it. I know a load of you guys are going to be like, oh my god, should totally see Coming to America. I actually have not seen Coming to America yet. Should get on it. That's round one, question three. Coming to America 2 has been released this weekend, but which fictional country does the main character, Akeem Joffer, come from? Round one, question four. Glasgow Rangers have won the Scottish League title for the first time in nearly a decade, but how many times have the club won the title? And I know technically a bunch of people out there probably say this is their first title since, well, you know, not to get into that. Round one, question four. Rangers won the Scottish League title for the first time in nearly a decade, but how many times have the club actually won the title? It's round one, question number four. Round one, question five. Which actor has announced a bid to become London mayor in order to stamp out PC culture? What he thinks is PC culture. That's round one, question five. The building you're looking at is City Hall in London, which is built all the way down near the Tower of London and Tower Bridge there in the foreground or in the background. But yes, the building there is, the current mayor is Sadiq Khan, of course, and that's where his office is, and the mayoral assembly. That's round one, question five. But which actor has announced a bid to become mayor of London in order to stamp out what he calls PC culture? And finally, round one, question six. Who hosted last year's Academy Awards? Now, in this year's Oscars have been pushed all the way back to April, so normally would have had a slew of questions about Oscars and all coming out, who won what and what got nominated for what. But obviously, because of COVID, it's pushed everything back. And they haven't even actually announced this year's Oscars host, which is rather unusual because that's normally what they do. But round 1, question 6. Who hosted last year's Academy Awards? That's why I had to go back one, because I figured we don't even know who's going to be hosting it this year. And there's your roundup there of questions, all about general knowledge. So yes, which TV personality is interviewing Meghan and Harry as part of an expose on the royal family? It's round 1, question 1. Round 1, question 2. Who is the current Secretary of State for Education in the UK? 3. Coming to America 2 has been released this weekend, but what fictional country does the main character Akeem Jaffour come from? 4. Rangers have won the Scottish League title for the first time in nearly a decade, but how many times have the club won the title? 5. Which actor has announced a bid to become the Mayor of London in order to stamp out what he calls PC culture? And finally, number 6. Who hosted last year's Academy Awards? Okay, so yes, 1 round down, 7 more to go on Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with me at any point tonight, I'm on all different social media channels here in the corner. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Drop us a message, and I'll see if I can give you a wee shout out at any point in the night. And if you have any suggestions for any quizzes or any rounds that you'd like to see come up in the next couple of weeks, by all means, get in touch. So, here is the next question tonight. Next round of questions tonight. Round number 2. And it's a music round. And this one, crazy songs. Now, what do I mean by crazy songs? Yeah, there's tons and tons of pop songs out there in popular culture, which all either have the title crazy or about something being crazy or going crazy over somebody. So I've decided to do an entire round about that particular genre or that particular, phenomena in music. But here we go. Questions all about crazy songs. Round 2, question number 1. Here we go. Which rapper featured on the Beyonce hit track Crazy in Love? That's round 2, question number 1. So round 2, question number 1. Absolute classic track. This reminds me of my college days. I think that's when it came out, around about 2003, 2004, thereabouts. But round 2, question number 1. Which rapper featured on the Beyonce track Crazy in Love? Absolute classic. So it's round 2, question number 1. Round 2, question 2. The Queen track Crazy Little Thing Called Love featured on which 1980 album? Now, I know a fellow out there called Daryl G. He's one of the hosts on our radio station here. Hosts the sounds of the shows and Live at 5, and he loves Queen, absolutely loves Freddie Mercury and Queen, goes to conventions, and he'll know this. I know that for a fact. He'll know this. But the track Crazy Little Thing Called Love featured on which 1980 album? Round 2, question 3, and this is one I learned today actually, and I thought it was actually pretty good. It's a really good factoid. But round 2, question 3. Which famous country star wrote the Patsy Cline hit Crazy? That's round 2, question 3. Classic track. Round 2, question 3. But which famous country star wrote the Patsy Cline hit Crazy? And it's one of those ones, again, when I heard it, actually genuinely surprised when I found it out. Next up, round 2, question 4. Gnarls Barkley had a massive 2006 hit with Crazy. The duo were made up of producer Danger Mouse and which other musician? It's round 2, question 4. Again, huge hit. I think, again, brings me back to my university days. I was milling about college and having the crack. But yes, definitely one. And I actually used to DJ quite a lot in uni, so these songs would have been definitely the soundtrack for everybody's night out for me. Huge track. Round 2, question 4. Gnarls Barkley, massive 2006 hit with Crazy. Duo made up of Danger Mouse. Which other musician? Next up, round 2, question 5. Who's the lead singer of the Birmingham group Fine Young Cannibals, who had a hit in 1988 with She Drives Me Crazy? It's round 2, question 5. This band were actually pretty big back then and had a slew of hits in the late 80s. Big sound as well. Big kind of soul sound, kind of post-punk, ska sound. We're on to question 5. I'm looking for the name of the lead singer of the Birmingham group Fine Young Cannibals, who had a 1988 hit with She Drives Me Crazy. And finally, which female-fronted rock group had a 1975 hit with Crazy on You? It's round 2, question 6. Cracking track. Absolutely amazing track. Features on one of my favourite soundtracks of all time. But yes. Round 2, question 6. Which female-fronted rock group had a 1975 hit with Crazy on You? I do believe they're Canadian. Could be wrong. I could be wrong with that. But they had a big number of hits in the 70s and 80s. And this was one of them. Alright guys, and there's your roundup of songs all about Crazy. So yes, which rapper featured on the Beyonce hit track Crazy in Love? Round 2, question 1. Number 2, which Queen track, or the Queen track Crazy Little Thing Called Love featured on which 1980 album? 3, which famous country star wrote the Patsy Cline hit Crazy? 4, Gnarls Barkley had a massive 2006 hit with Crazy. The duo made up of Danger Mouse and which other musician? 5, who is the lead singer of the Birmingham group Fine Young Cannibals, who had a 1980 hit with the song She Drives Me Crazy? And finally, which female-fronted rock group had a 1975 hit with Crazy on You? It's round 2, question number 6. Okay, and yeah, I'm having some really weird issues with the old camera here tonight. It keeps on going on and off. But yes, thanks very much for playing tonight's quiz. Apologies about last week's. Had a couple of... let's put it this way. It was my birthday weekend and I was celebrating. That's why the quiz has not been published on YouTube. And also, big thanks to my co-host, Anna Gonzalez, who was a fine sport for coming in. And was probably my first and probably my last co-host that I'll have on the quiz. But we'll see what happens. But yes, don't forget, I'm having the first anniversary quiz of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz next week, or soon enough, not next week, but the weekend after. And I'd love for you guys to join me on that. That's the first anniversary quiz, Sunday the 21st of March. Like I said, I can't believe it's been a year since I started this. It's been absolutely crazy. All right, guys, heads up. Here comes the next quiz round. It's movies and women in cinema. Okay, you'll see why I'm bringing this up tonight. 2 rounds all about women. The first one, women in cinema, and the next one I'll tell you in a second when it's going to be on. So here we go. Round 3, question number 1. And it is all about aliens. So yes, what was the name of Ripley's cat in the Alien films? He appears in the first and second one. It's round 3, question number 1. I'm looking for the name of Ripley's cat in the Alien films. Strong female protagonist, probably one of the best in cinema history. It's round 3, question number 1. What was the name of Ripley's cat in the Alien movies? Round 3, question 2. Who directed the film Thelma and Louise? It's round 3, question 2. Had a very young Brad Pitt in it, I believe. Gina Davis, Susan Sarandon. Do you know what? In retrospect, I actually should have asked which one's which. Who played Louise in Thelma and Louise? But there you go, round 3, question 2. Who directed the movie Thelma and Louise? Iconic movie. Next up, round 3, question 3. Who was the first woman to win an Oscar for Best Picture Director in 2009? That is your third question tonight. So round 3, question 3. Who was the first woman to win the Oscar for Best Picture Director in 2009? That is round 3, question 3. Next up, round 3, question 4. What codename does Uma Thurman's character have in the film Kill Bill? It's round 3, question number 4. If you remember, the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad all have codenames based on snakes. And the Bride is the name of the character in Kill Bill. And you find out her name is Beatrice Kiddo, I believe. I remember actually skipping school to go down to the cinema to watch this rather violent film, which I probably shouldn't have been allowed into the cinema to see. But yes. What codename does Uma Thurman's character have in the film Kill Bill? Next up, round 3, question number 5. This is quite an interesting one, but in which film theory, coined in 1985, asks whether a work features at least 2 women that talk to each other about something other than a man? Okay, it's a piece of interesting feminist theory which basically says that most movies either have one female character or 2 female characters that talk to each other, and if they do, they only talk about another guy or the relationship problems, not about something else. Interestingly, this test that is just known as has only passed a few. If you look down through them, sometimes it's been expanded to cover whether the female character has been even named or has a full name or not. But round 3, question 5, which film theory, coined in 1985, asks whether a work of film features at least 2 women who talk to each other about something other than another guy. So there you go. Round 3, question 5. It's quite an interesting one. And finally, round 3, question 6. Which director has made films such as The Virgin Suicides, Marie Antoinette, and Lost in Translation? Have to say, The Virgin Suicide is probably one of my favourite films of all time. Amazing soundtrack by the band Air. And absolutely amazing group of movies there. Really atmospheric. That's round 3, question number 6. And there is your roundup there of questions all about women in cinema. So yes, what was the name of Ripley's cat in the Alien films? 2, who directed the film Thelma and Louise? 3, who was the first woman to win an Oscar for the Best Picture Director in 2009? 4, what codename does Uma Thurman's character have in the film Kill Bill? 5, which film theory coined in 1985 asks whether a work features at least 2 women who talk to each other about something other than a man? And finally, which director made films such as The Virgin Suicides, Marie Antoinette, and Lost in Translation? Give you a couple of seconds on that before we move on to the next round. Okay, guys, that is 3 down. We're coming up nearly to the halfway point in the quiz. And like I said, there's a little bit of a theme running here tonight in tonight's quiz. So here we go. Round number 4. It's a history round, and it's all about International Women's Day. So yes, this week on Harbourside Radio, we are celebrating International Women's Day. We have a special day of programming coming up, all about heroic female figures in music and history. But yes, here is your first question, all about International Women's Day. I thought I'd just start off pretty interesting with this one. But what day is International Women's Day celebrated annually? That's round 4, question number 1. See, I didn't want to give away the day just yet, because I figured you will find out later on in the answer when this particular day of actual day is celebrated itself. But yes, round 4, question number 1. What day is International Women's Day actually celebrated on? It's your first one. Next up, round 4, question 2. In which city was the first National Women's Day celebrated? It's kind of like a precursor to International Women's Day itself. The history of the actual day is really fascinating if you look into it. It's very, very interesting. Very, very curious origins of where it came from and where it started. It's well worth researching. But yes, round 4, question number 2. In which city was the first National Women's Day celebrated? A precursor to International Women's Day. Next up, round 4, question 3. Which country made Women's Day a national non-working holiday in May the 8th, 1965? It was one of the very first countries to recognize it all the way back in 1917, 1918, roughly about then, probably a bit later, but round 4, question 3. Which country made Women's Day a national non-working holiday on the 8th of May, 1965? That's round 4, question 3. Next up, round 4, question 4. According to the IWDA, what colour is associated with International Women's Day? Might have seen it in the logo there a couple of rounds ago, or a couple of questions ago. Round 4, question 4. According to the IWDA, what colour is associated with International Women's Day? Next up, round 4, question 5. In 1977, which organization encouraged member states to celebrate International Women's Day? That's round 4, question number 5. So 1977, which organization encouraged member states to celebrate International Women's Day? That's round 4, question 5. And finally, round 4, question 6. Which well-known television and radio personality co-founded the Women's Equality Party with Catherine Mayer in 2015? That's round 4, question 6. So round 4, question 6. Which well-known television and radio personality co-founded the Women's Equality Party with Catherine Mayer in 2015? I'll give you a clue. She hosted a quiz show, which I was on a couple of years ago, and I actually got to meet her. Lovely, lovely woman. Very, very kind and very, very hospitable to all our guests. And an absolute national treasure, even though she's not from the UK. That's another clue. And there's your roundup there. So what day is International Women's Day celebrated? What date? Number 2, in which city was the first National Women's Day celebrated? 3, which country made Women's Day the national non-working holiday in May the 8th, 1965? 4, according to the IWDA, what colour is associated with International Women's Day? 5, in 1977, which organisation encouraged member states to celebrate International Women's Day? And finally, which well-known television and radio personality co-founded the Women's Equality Party with Catherine Mayer in 2015? A couple of seconds there to round up those questions, and we'll move on. And like I said, we're just over the halfway point of tonight's quiz. Okay, guys, and the camera's back. Fantastic. We're just over halfway tonight. Just a couple of other wee announcements to make before we move on. Don't forget, like I said, the Alone Together virtual St. Patrick's Day celebration is happening on March the 16th at 11 p.m. GMT. We're going to be kicking off celebrations on both sides of the Atlantic, and we're broadcasting live on the evening of March the 16th, so the Americans can celebrate St. Patrick's Day occurring here in Ireland in real time for them. And then the next day we're going to be repeating the entire show. 9 hours of fantastic entertainment from both sides of the Atlantic. We've got some amazing acts, all local, genuine, bona fide Irish acts, all coming to you on March the 17th. And like I said, it's such a shame that St. Patrick's Day is written off again this year, but we're bringing it to you. So don't worry if you don't know what to do. Come and join us for that on HarboursideRadio.com and Harbourside Facebook and on Irish Arts and Entertainment. There'll be something for everybody, and I have to say it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to put this together with my friend Ryan, who's been the chief editor on this, but yes, I've been coordinating it with Jim McMahon over in the United States, and we're really, really excited. Like, the footage that we have so far is unbelievable. So yes, don't forget, join us there, Harbourside Radio Facebook for that, and the Harbourside Radio on the website as well. I've got a wee birthday message from the Pottingers. It's from Adrian saying happy birthday from the Pottingers, Coggins and the Aldas. We're still enjoying the quiz. Would love a shout out tonight. Yes, Lucy T and her sister are playing tonight. Big hello to them as well. And to Pia, if you're playing tonight in Cranfield, massive hello and welcome to your first ever quiz. So yes, that is 4 down. We've got 4 to go. If you've been playing Big Nerd Pub Quiz from the start, you'll always know that round 5 is always the sports round. I always put it at round 5 because I figured, like, it's deep in the quiz. Kind of gets, I'm not saying I don't want to get it out of the way too early, but, you know, this is where I kind of bury it. And I know a lot of people aren't fans of the old sport, but, you know, I am. I'm a huge football and rugby fan. But here you go. Sports. Questions all about sports. Let's see how you get on with this one. Now, this tonight is all about referees. I got the idea from my buddy Jez, who wrote a cricket quiz the other day, and I'm not going to give you all questions about cricket, but the first one was all about cricket signals, and I thought that was a really, really good idea to do about kind of refereeing terms from different sports. So let's see how you get on with this one. This should be an interesting one, I think. So round 5, question number 1. In cricket, when the umpire raises both his hands in the air, just like that, what has just happened? So that's round 5, question number 1. Round 5, question 1. So I don't know if any of you guys watch cricket, but the umpire, there's one behind the wicket and then another one in front, and they basically watch what's happening and they decide on various decisions which happen on field. And in cricket, so when the umpire raises both his hands just like that, what's just happened? It's round 5, question number 1. Next up, round 5, question 2. In baseball, when the umpire waves both arms outward, what does that mean has happened? Again, for a lot of you guys who've been watching this for quite a while, I'm a massive baseball fan. I know that sounds crazy. I genuinely love the sport. I think it's amazing. I actually am going to be setting up the Warm Point Summer Softball League this coming summer. So if you want to join up for that, I'm going to send a link. I'll set up the link and get some team rivalry going around the town and maybe surrounding areas. I want to make this like a cult thing for people to get involved with. But round 5, question 2. In baseball, when the umpire waves both arms outward, just like as shown above, what does that mean has happened? Something's happened. And he does that. What does that mean? It's round 5, question 2. Round 5, question 3. There's Nigel Owens. In rugby, what does the term TMO mean? So yes, Nigel Owens, one of the most famous referees in rugby. If you're not familiar with him, I suggest you type into YouTube Nigel Owens just being Nigel Owens, because he's just the funniest guy. Referees in rugby are mic'd up. You hear all the decisions on field. You can hear them having strong words with the players. And Nigel doesn't mince his words. He's an absolute legend of the game. And the way he chastises some of the players is just absolutely hilarious. But round 5, question 3. In rugby, what does the term TMO mean? It's round 5, question 3. Next up, round 5, question 4. In football, a player scores a goal and removes his shirt to celebrate. What should the referee do? That's round 5, question 4. Now, there was an interesting feature in The Guardian, I remember, a couple of years ago. And I think there was a series of books, and it was called You're the Referee. And, like, everybody at a football match thinks they know better than the ref. And there has been incidences where I've been in the stadium and I've seen decisions made which I just can't get my head around, because I'm just like, that's clearly a foul, or the ball went out, and they have the VAR, and sometimes it just hasn't even improved the game at all. I don't think. It's just there's some bizarre decisions. But this particular series of books and articles kind of put you in the position of the ref, and if certain incidents happen, what do you do? It's according to the laws of the game and the rules of the game. But round 5, question 4. In football, player scores a goal and removes his shirt to celebrate. What should the referee do? That's Ryan Giggs taking off his shirt after scoring that amazing goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final in 1999. Who could forget? Next up, round 5, question 5. In tennis, how is it decided which player serves first? That's round 5, question 5. So yes, in the game of tennis, again, a sport I'm not massively familiar with. I'm not massively into tennis myself. But, in round 5, question 5, in tennis, how is it decided which player serves first? Next up, final question about sports. So round 5, question 6. Which football referee infamously gave out 3 yellow cards to one player in a World Cup game in 2006? That's not him, but pretty embarrassing for this guy, because God love him, these things happen. But he was there, give a player 2 yellow cards and didn't send him off. Forgot that he had booked him. I don't think his career as a ref recovered after that. Pretty unfortunate, because he was a pretty good referee. We're on 5, question 6. Which football ref infamously gave out 3 yellow cards to one player in a World Cup game in 2006? And there's your roundup there. Questions all about referees and referee decisions. So round 5, question number 1. In cricket, when the umpire raises both hands in the air, what's just happened? 2. In baseball, when the umpire waves both arms outward, what does that mean just happened? 3. In rugby, what does the term TMO mean? 4. In football, a player scores a goal and removes his shirt to celebrate, but what should the referee do? 5. In tennis, how is it decided which player serves first? And finally, in which football referee infamously gave out 3 yellow cards to one player in a World Cup game back in 2006? Alright, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Thought we'd do it more about the men who kind of dictate and run the game as opposed to the guys who actually play it. But yes, here we go. Next round tonight is all about, it's a first picture round. Let's see how you get on with this one. Now, we've done flags before in geography, but I figured I'd mix things up a wee bit and do something a little bit different. So, city flags. Most major cities in the world all have a ceremonial flag to symbolize their city. So I'm going to show you 6 city flags. All you have to do is match that flag to the city. Sounds simple? Well, let's see how you get on with this. Here we go. Round 6 question. And here you go. So yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've got 6 different flags there. All you have to do is match them up to the particular city. Now, interestingly, in terms of a good flag design, or flags, the study of flags and the hobby of collecting flags, I think, is a vexillology. And one of the most interesting things about flag, they say the sign of a good flag is something that can be instantly rememberable and could be drawn by a 5-year-old from memory. And I do believe they said number 4 is a pretty good one, because it's really super simple and it's pretty striking, it's very memorable, and yeah, there's not much to it really. It's just is what it is. But yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 there just match the city to the flag. You might get some instances of clues by looking at the flag itself. Maybe a bit of a process of elimination. But you can see that all 6 of them there. You can try to work out which ones are which. But yes, round 6, all about city flags tonight. It's your first picture round tonight. There's going to be another one coming up. Round 6, city flags. Out of all 6 of those, I have been to 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been to 5 of them. One of them I haven't been to. But I have been to 5 of them. But yes, city flags. Try to look for some visual clues there. Number 2 might hold a clue about where this flag's origin, and actually a bit of a nod to the original name of this particular city. So if you think for that as a kind of a clue. Number 3 as well. The colours have bigger significance for the country itself. But what could that be? Round 6. All about city flags. I'll keep that up for another minute or 2. Just look at my watch here. Yep, time is now 8:42. When it goes 8:43, we'll move on. I think this is a fairly straightforward round. If you know your cities, if you've been to some of these, but yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 there. I think 6 looks pretty cool. I do love number 4 though. Number 4 is pretty boss. But yes, another couple of minutes on that. And then we'll move on to the next round. So here we go, coming up to round number 7. Whoa. That was from last week's there. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me. So if you're still playing, you still want a wee shout out, by all means. We've got 2 more rounds to go. This next one, I thought, I don't know where I got the idea for this one, but I thought it'd be nice just to do it on something. It's spring. There's lots of lovely flowers in bloom. So yes, round 7. It's all about flowers. So yes, botany, a bit of science here, biology, stuff you would have learned in school, I guess. So here's a round for all of you who would consider yourself green-fingered. So anyway, here we go. Round 7, question number 1. What name is given to the pollen-producing reproductive organ of a flower composed of an anther and filament? This is really going back to like really early grammar school science, I guess. Round 7, question number 1. What name is given to the pollen-producing reproductive organ of a flower composed of an anther and a filament? I know you guys can picture it, right? For sure. I know you can picture it. So round 7, question 1. What name is given to the pollen-producing reproductive organ of a flower composed of an anther and a filament? You know the diagram. Round 7, question 2. Which small flower, usually with 5 blue or purple petals, has the scientific name Myosotis? Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that right. So round 7, question 2. Which small flower, usually with 5 blue or purple petals, has the scientific name myosotis or myosotis. I don't think any of them are there. Actually, I'm just randomly picked pictures of flowers for this round. Round 7, question 2. Moving on, round 7, question 3. What colour of rose is featured on the crest of the football club Manchester City? I think a bit of logic, is needed here for this one, even if you're not into football and you're not familiar with the crest itself. But think about your history and think about where Manchester is. And I think that's enough clues for you for this round, for this particular question. Round 7, question 3. What colour of rose is featured on the crest of football club Manchester City? Let's just put it this way. On Leeds United, they have a rose too. And it's a different colour to this particular rose. So, again, use your noggin, use your history. What colour of rose is featured on the crest of the football club Manchester City? Next up, round 7, question 4. The RHS Chelsea Flower Show is held which month of the year? So that's round 7, question 4. My mum really loves going. I think my parents have been to this. Mum says she's always wanted to go. I don't know whether she's actually been yet or not. But round 7, question 4. The RHS Chelsea Flower Show is held in which month of the year? There's the Queen herself opening it. It's round 7, question 4. Round 7, question 5. What name is given to the Japanese art of flower arranging? It's round 7, question 5. Yes, the Japanese very particular about these particular forms of arts. Round 7, question number 5. What name is given to the Japanese art of flower arranging? It's round 7, question 5. And finally, last question of this round, round 7, question 6. Which flower inspired the William Wordsworth poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud? It's round 7, question 6. It is mentioned in the poem. So I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high or veils in hills. And well at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden something. I think that'll give it away. Round 7, question 6. Which flower inspired the William Wordsworth poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud? And there's your roundup there. Questions all about flowers. What name is given to the pollen-producing reproductive organ of a flower composed of the anther and filament? 2. Which small flower, usually with 5 or blue or purple petals, has the scientific name myosotis? I can't pronounce that. 3. What colour of rose is featured on the crest of Football Club Manchester City? 4. The RHS Flower Show is held in which month of the year? 5. What name is given to the Japanese art of flower arranging? And 6. Which flower inspired the William Wordsworth poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud? Give you a couple of seconds on that before we move on to the final round. All right, guys, we're now into the final round, and I don't know about you, but the weather here today was absolutely beautiful. I know I would have liked to have been outside with my friends on the beach down in Rostrevor or Warren Point, but no, I was in here writing a quiz. But I'm thinking going forward, if the weather's going to get better, I might move the quiz to another day. If you are for that or against that, please do let me know. I kind of like to have Sundays free now these days, and I want to kind of just move on from, I'm not saying I don't want to stop doing the quizzes, but I absolutely do. But I do want to kind of free up my Sundays going forward. Anyways, let's move on to the final round tonight, and let's see how you guys get on with this, because maybe this was in the back of my head. But yes, beer logos. It's a picture round. I'm going to show you 6 beer logos. All you have to do is match them with the actual brand of beer that I'm showing you. So I've doctored some of these to take away the actual names of them. Let's see how you get on with these. So anyway, round 8, final round this evening. Round 8, question number 1. Let's see how you do. Yes, so round 8, question 1. This rather happy, contented looking chap drinking a nice glass of frothy draft beer is round 8, question 1. What brand of beer is that? So yes, round 8, question 1. What brand of beer is this? Next up, round 8, question number 2. Round 8, question 2. Taking away, just left the main kind of crest of the logo there. Round 8, question 2. What is that? Round 8, question 3. Bit of a clue there. It's a German one. München. From Munich. Round 8, question 3. A German beer. What beer brand is that? Next one, round 8, question 4. Kind of a beer associated with American hipsters. Round 8, question 4. What brand of beer is that? Here's your penultimate question for the evening. Round 8, question 5. And your final question tonight. Final one. Don't forget, once you see the final question, you'll get your scores once you submit. But stick about for the answers. Here it goes. Here it is. Final one. Round 8, question 6. I know a lot of you looking at that think that quite familiar, but what beer is that? So it's round 8, question 6. I'll go through those one more time. Let's see how you do with that. So there's number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. And finally, number 6. Okay, so that is it for the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. I'm going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to see how we've done. I'm going to see if I can get all the scores up and come up with a top 3, 4, or 5. And let's see how you've got on. And let me know. Hashtag Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Send me a message. Send me a wee tweet or a selfie. And let me know how you have got on with tonight's quiz. And if you have any ideas for rounds or specialty quizzes going forward, by all means. I'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, I have tabulated the top 5 performers tonight. And yeah, it's been a actually pretty close quiz. There is actually one outstanding winner. And I have to say, people have done quite well across the board. It's been amazing to see the amount of players out there who have been playing. And it's great to see, and thank you for all your support out there. Really do appreciate you guys coming week in, week out and playing the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. But yes, here we go. Here are tonight's answers, and then I will be revealing the top 5 players this evening. So here we go. The answers for tonight's quiz, very straight up. Oprah Winfrey is the interviewer for Harry and Meghan tonight. I think it's going out at 1 o'clock this morning. But yes, massive interview. Gavin Williamson is the current Secretary of Education for the UK. Zamunda is the country in coming to America. 55 times have Glasgow Rangers won the Scottish Premier League. Lawrence Fox is running because, you know, he thinks everything's too PC. Fair enough. And nobody, the answer is actually nobody actually hosted last year's Oscars, which actually followed on from the year before, which also nobody hosted the year's Oscars there as well. Next up, so the song's all about Crazy. Jay-Z featured on the track Crazy in Love. Crazy Little Thing Called Love was on the album The Game. Willie Nelson wrote Crazy for Patsy Cline, believe it or not. All the way back in 1963. CeeLo Green was part of the duo with Danger Mouse. They made up Gnarls Barkley with their hit Crazy. Roland Griffith is the singer of Fine Young Cannibals. And Crazy on You was released by Heart. So next up, in terms of women in cinema, Ripley's cat in Aliens was called Jones, or Jonesy. Thelma and Louise was directed by Ridley Scott. Catherine Bigelow was the first woman to win an Oscar for Best Picture Director in 2009. Black Mamba is the name of Uma Thurman's character in Kill Bill. The Bechdel test is the one which asks if there's at least two women who talk to each other in a movie about something other than a man. And Sofia Coppola was the director of The Virgin Suicides, Marie Antoinette, and Lost in Translation. So yes, International Women's Day is tomorrow. It's the 8th of March, so that's when we're having our fantastic Women's Day celebration on Harbourside Radio. The first National Women's Day was celebrated in New York, and it was actually hosted by the Socialist Party of America. The Soviet Union was the first country to make the Women's Day a national non-working holiday on the 8th of May. Women's Day is purple, according to the IWDA. That's the colour associated with it. The UN General Assembly asked their member organisations to celebrate International Women's Day in 1977, and Sandy Toksvig is the co-founder of the Women's Equality Party. And in case you're wondering, International Men's Day, it's sometime in November. I don't care. Anyway, next up, round 5. All about referees. So in cricket, when the an umpire raises both his hands into the air, it means that 6 runs have been scored. In baseball, when the umpire waves both of his arms outward, it means that the runner is safe. That's when the runner is running towards base and he slides in and he gets there before the ball gets to the guy manning first base or second base, whatever. TMO in rugby means television match official. So the TMO, if it goes upstairs, the TMO, it means that they're checking if it's a try or there's a foul or whatnot. If you're a rugby fan, you'll know that straight away. Yellow card is given to a player that removes his shirt when celebrating a goal. It's deemed unnecessary by the lawmakers of the game. Some others say that it's put in place because the player takes off his shirt. He's hiding the sponsor. So that's a part of the reason, maybe. In tennis, it's decided a coin toss is used to decide which player goes first. And Graham Pole was the referee who gave out 3 yellow cards to one player in a game in 2006. Next up, those city flags. So we had London was the first one, which kind of looks like the cross of St. George. New York, which had the blue, white, and the orange, cementing its kind of its history as New Amsterdam, the Dutch link there. Paris with its red and its blue, which was the symbol of the revolution back in 1793. Or 1789, sorry. Chicago's that really cool one with the 4 stars and the white background and the blue stripes. It's pretty cool. Berlin has the bear. I always remember Berlin bear. And Tokyo's that cool purple one with the kind of pointed star on it. Next up, your questions all about flowers. Yes, so the pollen-producing reproductive organ on a flower is the stamen. Myocytosis is known as a forget-me-nots. It's purple. The crest is the rose on the crest of Manchester City is red. Now, why is it red? It's in Lancaster. The War of the Roses, red. That was the association there. Chelsea Flower Show is generally held in May. Ikebana is the Japanese art of flower arranging. And daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. And your final one there, so those ones, Beer Moretti, Beck's, Pauliner, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Brewdog, and Amstel. Just to show you those again. So Beer Moretti, Beck's, Pauliner, Pabst Blue Ribbon. I think the clue was in the blue ribbon there. Not the red stripe, of course. Next up, Brewdog. And finally, Amstel. Thought a lot of ones would have got that mixed up with Stella Artois. But there you go. The clue was in the A there. And the scores tonight. So yes, the team that came up on top of the Guckians. Congratulations to you guys with 44 out of 48. Oprah came in at 41 out of 48. Good to see you playing, Oprah. Me had a grand total of 39 out of 48. The Cat's Pajamas, fair play, with 39 as well. And Dwayne Dibley, I think that's a nod to Red Dwarf, isn't it? With 39. That's the top 5 tonight in the quiz. Here, listen, the guys, thank you so much for playing Big Nerd Pub Quiz after all these weeks. And like I said, we'll be back again next week with another one. But don't forget, keep the date free. 21st of March is going to be the big first anniversary quiz. Don't miss that. Also, the St. Patrick's Day event, please do check it out. It's going to be amazing. Virtual St. Paddy's Day all day on the 16th of March from 11 p.m. And we're going to be repeating it all throughout St. Patrick's Day. Have it on in the background. It's going to be incredible. We've got some brilliant acts there as well. And finally, next Big Nerd Pub Quiz will be on Sunday the 14th of March next week. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook on Harbourside Radio and Big Nerd Pub Quiz Facebook. Guys, thanks a million again for playing and joining me again. See you all again next week. Have a great week. Stay safe. And good night.